everyone, this is Tom from Factory Underground Tech. In today's video, I'm going to be covering guitar tone in Logic Pro X. Let's get started. So here you'll see I have a previously recorded session with our DI'd guitar tone. Let's take a listen to what the DI'd guitar tone sounds like. Now, sounds like a direct tone, right? We want it to sound like a rockin' amplifier. So we're going to use Logic Pro X's guitar amp software to make it happen. First thing we're going to do is click on our guitar track. Now, where it's labeled Audio Effects is where we're going to put our first insert. We're going to start by clicking here, going to Amps and Pedals, Amp Designer. Now, right off the bat, usually I'll take this amp and I'll drag it down one more spot. So if I want to add any pedals or anything later on, I have the option to do so. So we're going to open up our amplifier. Now here, it automatically comes up with a Vox AC styled guitar amplifier with a Royer R121 style microphone. Now these can all easily be changed by either choosing the model, and it will change to a different type of amp altogether, like let's say a Fender styled amp. Or you have the option to change the amp head, being the head here, to let's say a Marshall style amplifier, or changing the cabinet to again another Fender style amplifier. And so on. So for rock, most of the time they had bigger styled amps like a Marshall or a Orange, something that can get a lot of gain. So let's choose a new head. And maybe a 4x12 style cabinet. Now let's hear what we have so far. Still very clean. We want to get more of a crunchy sound out of it, so we're going to add some more gain. I'm also going to turn off the reverb. I don't want that to cause any issues later on with sounding too muddy. You also have a choice of microphone as well. Right now it's on a SM57, but I can go down to where it says microphone and make any change I want, whether it be a Neumann U87, AKG C414, Electro Voice RE20, Shure SM57, Sennheiser MD421, Sennheiser E609, or a Royer R121 style microphone. You can also choose where the placement of the microphone is as well. Now, more to the center of the cone, the more treble you're going to get. The more outside, the less treble you're going to get. As well as the further away from the amp you get, the less of a clean, direct sound you're going to get. I'll start moving the microphone around until it sounds good. I think for now that's going to work. Now as well, it still doesn't have quite enough grit to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive the signal before it gets to the amp, similar to how you would do it in real life with a real amplifier. So I'm going to go above my amp. I'm going to go to Pedalboard. From here you have tons of different pedals to choose from, anything from phasers, wahs, fuzz pedals, distortions, what have you. In my case, we're going to just pick something that's going to drive the signal, like this vintage drive. Turn the drive down a tad, push the level. and this will help drive the amplifier before it even gets to it. Already starting to sound more like a rock guitar amp. Let's hear it in context. Off to a pretty good start. Now, the most important thing with rock guitar is doubling, right? Getting a really big, wide guitar sound. So what we did is we literally doubled the same part, but we made slight modifications to the amp. I'm going to pan one to the left and one all the way to the right. So I'm using that same pedal. And on this one, you'll see I have a different amp and a different placement of the microphone. And this small change is going to give us a big difference. Already starting to sound really good. Now let's mess with the EQs of the amps real quick. So to start, we have our bass, mid, and treble. I'm going to start by pulling the treble back just a little bit. Now this is a good start to getting our EQ to sound really nice. But as well, it's not as fine-tuned. So we're going to choose an EQ out of our Logic session. We're going to click on EQ. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll off some of this unnecessary low end in the track. Click our high-pass filter. And we're going to pull this to around 110. Let's hear what that sounds like. Did you hear a difference? It should be pretty subtle. All we're doing is getting rid of all the unnecessary stuff below 100 that's not really in our guitar sound. This will leave more room for our bass guitar and our kick drum. As well as subtractive EQ getting rid of the low end, we can also get rid of a little of the brittleness up in the 4K to 8K range. Bingo, right there. We're going to take that and we're going to pull that down. I hear another one in there whistling away. Let's find it. So all we're doing is getting rid of the annoying frequencies that bother our ear. By getting rid of these problems, we're then able to boost the good things that we do like in the frequencies later on. Now that I've done some subtractive EQ and getting rid of some of the problem areas, we're going to now do some additive EQ. Now usually I like to subtractive EQ with something that doesn't really color the sound, like the stock Logic EQ. And when I want to color the sound, I'll use something that adds character to the sound. One that I particularly like that Logic gives you is under EQ, Vintage Collection, Graphic EQ. Now this graphic EQ is based off of an API 560 style EQ. With this EQ, I can color the sound without even having to do anything. It already changes the sound. Let me show you. Slight difference, but it made a change. So now we could start to add things that we do want into the sound. Right, so all we did is make it feel a little bit more present. Now, let's take those same settings that we just did and copy it to our other amp as well. To do this, I'm going to hit Command-2 to open my mixer window. Right here. I'm going to get rid of this previous EQ I had. And all I'm going to do is hold Option and drag it over. Now let's hear what the both of them sound like together. I'm going to pan this one back hard left. Let's hear it in context. Sounding pretty rock and roll. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a Factory Underground Tech quick tip video. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and feel free to comment to let us know what you might like us to cover in the future. For more information about us and our program, please visit us at factoryundergroundtech.com.